Oi, mate, how are ya? Have the courage to be disliked. Today's topic. Any fool can achieve anything in this world, but there's a shortage. There's a shortage in the amount of people who are willing to go forth and be disliked by doing whatever it is that they're interested in. This was one of those insights that made me change how I see everything. There are people, man, climbing Mount Everest, and that's a great feat. There's people achieving world records at the Olympics, recent Olympics. There's people doing incredible things all around, very creative things. And these people is what I want to discuss the creators that use their minds. We're not just talking about physical feats here because they are also great and maybe equally great. Well, I'm not even saying that there's levels to this, actually, before I confuse you, banging on about certain topic about uh, having the courage to be disliked. I want to make sure that I kind of define that for you. What I mean by the courage to be disliked is simple, my friend. I'm not telling you to go out there and intentionally try to get people to dislike you. That's not what I'm saying. The courage to be disliked is another way of saying the courage to be alone in what you think is right. An example of this would be, let's say you live in a theocratic society, a very religious society, but there's something that you believe to be right that is being neglected by the masses. The courage you would then have to stand alone and stand on that belief which you hold could later be seen when that society is a little bit more enlightened. You will have to then stand up for that, advocate for that, and be true to yourself within it. Now, I feel like the words I'm using may haunt me in the future because I don't advocate for much. And when I do go in the future and say I don't advocate for much, people will say, oh, but you did in the past said that we have to advocate for the things we believe. True. If somebody during the witch hunt time was to advocate and try to logically approach the issue of hunting people for sport, which is what it was because of ignorance, that person would have been thrown in there and be accused of being a witch too with those people, you see, and they would have had lost their life being burned at the stakes or whatever, have they taken to the guillotine. We don't have burning people to the stakes anymore, and we don't have the guillotines. No, we are civilized. We torture people behind closed doors, you see. Much more nicer civil people. We are much more domesticated than that. We are no longer barbaric and these wild animals that medieval people were. The courage now that you and I should have, and I think I might need to involve myself in this conversation if I'm going to talk to anybody about courage, you see. Why should you only be concerned with courage? What about me? Well, you and I then, let's discuss the courage to be disliked, the courage to be alone on your own 2 feet. The courage to be disliked in today's time is in a way very subtle. You see, if you go against many people today, you will be laughed at. Nothing has changed. A good example would be, even though I do not agree with this person whatsoever, I do not agree with David Icke on anything. Not just the lizard people thing. I don't agree with David Icke on any damn thing. But David Icke had the courage to go on that TV show in 1999, whatever that person, something Carey was, whatever his name is, I don't know, that host. But we know David Icke's name. I don't know the host name. David Icke went on there, talked about the things that he believed. You can go look up David Icke 1999 interview. I don't know what it's called or what channel he was on. Wasn't paying attention to that, all that jazz. But David Icke is an example of what I'm telling you. He had the courage to go on that stage, spew whatever he had to spew clearly, right, and articulated his stance, his belief, his whatever, and had people laughed at him. And he stayed calm and even tried to reason with them. And these British people in the 90s kept laughing at him. Even the host said they're not laughing with you, David, they're laughing at you. Somebody will see this and think I'm a David Icke fan. I'm not. I think the guy is a charlatan, but not in that way of like, I think he's a charlatan. Next time he comes to Australia, I'm going to go protest. So he does. No, I think he's a charlatan, but I also think he should eat and continue doing his hustle. If you're also intelligent, you will see that David Icke is just he's somebody who benefits off the gullibility of others. But nonetheless, he did whatever he needed to do to survive in this world. So I don't even see it as a negative. That's what I want people to see. See, nowadays, man, whenever you criticize somebody, they think you're hating. I'm not hating. In fact, I admire the man. Sure, I wouldn't do what he's doing, but I admire his hustle, you see. He's not hurting anyone. Well, he's hurting people intellectually, but he's not hurting anybody, you see, physically. People are willingly allowing themselves to go buy tickets to his seminars. I'm getting off the point here. You can climb Mount Everest. That is not impressive to me. Any idiot could do it. Even somebody with no legs could do it. You see? Wheel themselves up maybe to Mount Everest. We'll get one of these days, somebody with a wheelchair will go up to Mount Everest. It's not that impressive. You can walk through the leg of fire. It's not impressive. Some fool will come and walk twice through the leg of fire. You can finish the marathon in 2 hours. Some idiot will come along and finish maybe just a minute under that. The point is, these great feats that we think of that can be done physically, somebody will beat Usain Bolt 9 seconds, 100 meters. All these are impressive, cool, but they're not impressive to me. What's impressive are those people who look at the current time, the whatever that is very dominant at that time of whatever time period they're living in. Go against that and truly stand there. Like the guy at the Tiananmen Square, whatever it's called, standing in front of the tanks. I don't know what his politics is, but he had the balls to stand there and say, "Run over me, bro." Go on then. That guy had the courage to literally stand alone. Other people would have just ran off because he's about to get ran down by a tank. The courage to be disliked is the same. If you believe something so vehemently, sincerely, and you hold it close, say it, advocate for it, ride until you die, make it your ride and die. This also includes if you live in a household where nobody's listening to you and you see yourself as different as to everybody else, you would have to have the courage to go on your own, to literally walk out. You see, this is the courage I'm talking about. If you feel lonely, instead of going hoeing yourself out to everybody else so you won't be alone, you just have the courage to be alone until you realize loneliness is just an illusion. And that you can even go deeper than that. This sort of solipsism philosophy. You see, and then there you could really lose your mind until you realize you are not just alone physically, you are alone metaphysically, existentially. This sort of courage I'm talking about, the courage to stand alone and be disliked, cannot be taught, cannot be passed down, and it's not something that somebody could motivate and encourage you to do. You can only do it. You could only save yourself. What I'm doing here, my whole channel is a sort of courage, you see. Often, how many black people, and I'm not talking about, I don't see race type of people. I am darker than most of you black Americans you'll ever meet. I am a Nilotic man. Sudanese. Sudanese are notoriously dark, black. See, I'm dark skinned, dark skinned. This is don't let the lighting fool you. Many people that come from my background do not talk about these conversations. And the many conversations that I will speak about in the past, sorry, in the past, that I did speak of in the past and will speak on in the future, they require courage. And they require a sort of courage to stand alone and say these things, no matter who they will touch and who will reject them. Like David Icke, I am very aware that some people might even laugh at me, and that's okay as well. You can laugh away, you see. You tell me what you're doing in your life that's courageous. Are you speaking on anything that's a bit different to what the people around you speak or spew or believe? If you're not and you laugh at me, I'm not going to be offended, bruh. I'll look at you as a conformist, not in the, oh, conformist bad word, oh, he's a conformist, ha ha ha. No, I mean, like, genuinely, you have not made any leap within your consciousness. You have remained at the consciousness of either your parents or your society, and that you are very agreeable, and that you never even had the courage to think, wait a minute, let me question that. Let me question what that person just said. And yes, I'm going to be laughed at, but that's fine. Let me question that. In the future, I'll get more and more radical because I will build more and more courage. Maybe, I don't know, if we were to use a percentage chart here, let's say I'm at a maybe 60%. See? Most of you are not even at halfway percent of courage yet. Imagine me at 80% level of courage. We're just using level of courage here. I'm just using it hypothetically. And imagine somebody at 100%. Now you're a sage. People will consider you a sage, a seer of some kind, a philosopher of some kind, a guru perhaps. These people are just at that level of, I don't care what anybody think about me, but their level is like 100, of I don't care what anybody thinks about me. Their level of I don't care, I have the courage to be disliked by other people is like 100. I have the courage to be alone is at 100. Most of what you see nowadays, all of these mental health, and I know you boys may not like what I'm about to say, are from the people not having the courage to be alone. And so you think that because you've lost such and such friend and nobody's around you anymore, things are bad, things are sad. You think that because you are struggling through life and blah, 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 it's making you sad. There's always something, bro, you could do, and that's what I'm pointing at here. And I'm sorry I left a bit late, but that is the courage I'm talking about. The courage to be able to pull yourself out of any rut. Not saying that the rut isn't real or being down isn't real. I just do not believe in anything past this is sad, I don't want to be here. It's sort of, I am sad, I don't want to be here. No, I see you as somebody who lacks courage to be who they want to be, to assert themselves into this world. And so because you lack the courage to assert yourself in this world, you lack the courage to be disliked, you have become so agreeable to everyone else that you've neglected yourself. And then now you're just sad. All the day you're sad. You want to medicate yourself. You want to do this because you don't have you lack the courage. This is how serious this topic is, bro. And I want people to understand that's genuinely what I mean by the courage to be disliked and the courage to be alone could change a lot of things in your life. You would literally be thinking, wait a minute, nobody likes me? Cool. So what? Wait a minute. I'm not making a living? What can I do to make a living, to get a bit of money? And you may think it doesn't matter if you had to do some things that you may be ashamed of currently, but if you had this courage, you may not even care. May not even care. Think of it. Just put yourself in the place, man, where you no longer have the fear of whatever. Your depression will go away because you have the courage to be disliked, the courage. All these depression, they comes from you thinking, oh, I don't have this thing that I think I should have. So you're depressed. That's it. And you're only happy when you get what you want. When you have the courage to be disliked and to have the courage to be alone, you don't even care if you don't get the things that you don't want. because those things that you think you want, all right, other people made you want those things. You know, how do I know you really wanna get married? I don't know. Maybe your parents made you put that idea in you. You know, who knows? I don't know. Maybe you really do want to get married, and that's a sort of courage as well, man. To get married nowadays, that is a crazy courage. I don't think I want to take that road, bro. So, anyway, my brothers and sisters, we'll discuss this courage thing another day, but I'm dragging on too long on a very serious topic. But the courage to be disliked, the courage to be alone, just the courage to be alone, let's leave it there, not even to be disliked, could improve your 2025 and the last end of 2024. How do you begin the courage to be disliked and to be alone? Everything that you take very seriously. Don't let it go all at once. I'm not even recommending that you do this. I'm not recommending that you do this. By the way, I hope that you just turn this off and forget about it. But let's just say that you wanted to take that road. You begin with one thing at a time. You see, I had I once built up the courage just because I was very good with academia. I realized that's not where I wanted to be. And I had to have the courage to choose not to go down that route of uni or whatever, or even, I don't even, bro, I need to even build up the courage now to figure out how to make money so I don't have to even go into the workforce. You see, I want to have the courage to, somebody says, oh, you should go to uni, and I have the courage to just tell them no. I don't want to, because that's literally, I have thought about this, and not something I'm just winging it. No, I clearly thought about this for a long time. Is that the route I want to take? And then now I would have the courage to say no. But then I would have to figure out something else that I want to do. You see, that's the courage I'm talking about. Looking at you, analyzing, examining your life. What do I want to do? What do you want to do? Do I want a relationship? I just a month ago I had to have the courage to literally walk away from a very beautiful girl, man. I don't even want to talk about it because I'm still healing from that shit. But once I'm healed from that, would not have the courage to go back. Sometimes I would have to have the courage to not even pick up the phone to call her or text her or anything. But over time, it'll become easy. But I realized that the relationships is not something that I want to be in after 8 years. I have to let it go. I feel much better alone. And I would have to build up this courage to be alone. That is exactly what I'm talking about. If you made it this far, that's the courage I'm talking about. The courage where you examine your life little by little. And then when you're done with all of this and you're a bit in, you know, in your hopefully late 20s or early 30s, you can go climb Mount Everest if you want. You can go to Mount Fuji or something. You can go to O Block in Chicago and walk around and have the courage to walk in the hood. Have the courage to be one of these thrill seekers. Anyways, man, I'm blowing this topic out of proportion, but that's the courage I'm talking about. I had to humanize it by using my examples that I'm currently going through. But you be good now, gentlemen. Take it easy. Goodbye. PD out.